Hi, everybody. Dan Catto, and I'm reaching you here from my home in Toronto, Canada. This is a very special day and probably another 45 minutes to another hour here of a very, very special hour for me and for all of you in the network marketing community and for all of you fellow entrepreneurs that are out there. I have been involved in this industry now for 35 plus years. And this industry has radically changed my life. And I've been very blessed to change the lives of tens of thousands of people, and now literally over 1 million people around the world because of this opportunity and because of this industry, because of this profession. It's an exciting time to be a part of our industry, to be a part of our profession. But today is, for me personally, is a special day and an exciting day. But absolutely for all of you, as you'll see over the next 45 minutes to an hour, a very valuable 45 minutes to an hour of your time, because of the gentleman I'm just going to introduce you to, is a fellow who's become a dear friend. He was my original mentor in the industry 35 years ago. And at that time, when I got started, I was searching. At the time, I was broke. I was in my early 30s. I was living with my parents. I was on government assistance. I had just gone through divorce, and I was pretty sick. I just got out of the hospital and had gone on this government assistance, financial assistance program, but searching, looking, desperately looking for something. And I was very, very fortunate to find an opportunity, but most importantly, find a coach, find a mentor, someone who became a good friend, a dear friend. But most importantly at that time was someone who was really my compass to direct me and guide me out of where I was. And I was not at a good place, as I shared with you. But what we're going to talk about here over the next 45 minutes to an hour through the gentleman, the guest I'm going to introduce you to, he's going to talk to you about a couple of things. We're going to go back and forth on a number of things, but most importantly, for all of you network marketing professionals that are out there and our fellow entrepreneurs, what would you need to do getting started today in your brand new business within our industry? Or if you're an entrepreneur, you've never been involved in our industry before, and you're looking at getting started, what do you need to do today? We're also going to talk about the distributor, the leader, who's got an organization of maybe thousands of distributors, tens of thousands of distributors, and you're looking to get to the next rank. You want to jack your check. You want to get your business up. We're going to talk to you about that as well as a few other things that I know are going to be very valuable for you. So in saying all of that, I'm going to turn the call now over to my good buddy and original mentor 35 years ago that I introduced when I was introduced this industry, who again, and I've got to share this before I introduce him, is what he shared with me obviously worked. Because in the first 5 years of what he taught me, I built an organization of 10,000 distributors. I built 3 other organizations of 30,000 distributors, 50,000 distributors, and today 1.2, now 1.3 million distributors in over 60 countries around the world. So what he shared with me obviously worked. It was not an accident. It happened by design. So again, in sharing all of that with you, I'm going to turn it over to my good buddy, who is not only just a legend and an icon, but recognized as the #1 income producing and the #1 distributor in the entire industry globally in our profession. So with all of that, I believe he's in Siesta Key right now, where I just was with him about 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago. Jeff Roberti. Jeff, are you with me there, buddy?
Can you hear me, Dan?
Oh, yeah, man. I can hear you real good.
All right. Great. You're looking good, Dan. You look great.
So are you, bud. So are
Yeah.
you. Thanks.
And we're both over 60 now, and I tell everybody 60 is the new 40, right? And I feel like we've figured out a way to reverse the aging process. And I've had people say, "Wow, you look so good. What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, let me share with you."
Yeah.
It's been an incredible journey for me too, Dan. And I appreciate the kind words. I consider you a dear friend, one of my best friends in the world. Congratulations, all the success that you've achieved. You deserve it. And we all know the only reason you've acquired that type of success is you've helped so many other people. One of the things I learned very, very early in this is in our profession, the network marketing, direct sales profession, is the business is never about you. It's always about the person in front of you. Mm. And I think the great late Zig Ziglar probably said it the best. If you can help enough other people get what they want out of life, you'll have everything you want out of life. Mm. And when I got introduced, Dan, a lot of people have heard my story, but I'll just share it briefly. I was in my early 20s, didn't have a higher education, didn't have any money, didn't have any experience or background. But you ever just meet somebody that's hungry? And I had a burning desire and a willingness to work, and was teachable. And someone cared enough about me to share with me a product, share with me an opportunity, and in the network marketing profession that literally changed my life. It was a moment in time, a defining moment. It was really a chance for me, this average person with an above average desire, to earn an above average income. And I'll never forget, I tore up my list of excuses, all excuses. Get this one down in your notes. All excuses, all distractions are equal. When you have a job to do, you do it. You don't look up line, you don't look down line, you look in the mirror. And you can either make excuses or you can make money, but you can't make both. And Dan, I had a huge why back then, a why that would make me cry, something that I wanted to do for my mother. I wanted to buy her a car, I wanted to buy her a home, because I lost my dad at the age of 46. My mom basically raised 3 boys. And I saw stress killing him. There was always more month than there was money, struggling and juggling. So I didn't come from a wealthy family. And when I got involved, I was like, wow, someday if I could, I would. I'd like to help my mother, or I'd like to help my grandparents, or I'd like to be able to do this for my favorite charity. I had a strong why. And you'll find out here today that, the how part of the business, it's really a simple business. It's not an easy business. It does require some hard work, some discipline, some consistency of effort and work habits and attitude. But, the basics and the fundamentals will never change. But when the how part's really, like I say, the easy part, it's the why part, why you're doing it. Reasons come first. And when you have a why, when you start peeling the layers of the onion and really get down to why you're doing this, what's really, truly important to you, if you can find a why that'll make you cry, that'll bring you to tears, that has a compelling future, that's emotionally charged, that'll get you up early, keep you up late, you'll put in that extra 10% effort that produces 90% of the results, you'll burn that midnight oil, whatever it is. And so I had now my why almost 40 years later has obviously evolved from when I started. It was I tell people it was out of desperation. Today, it's truly out of inspiration, to never forget where you came from, to pay it forward. I get so much emotional and spiritual revenue from this business. I love the relationships. I love all the love and connection, the growth. Aren't you the happiest in life when you're growing? Doesn't growth equal happiness? Progress equals happiness. And the contribution side of it. For me, it's doing something that counts, something that matters, something that's bigger than yourself, something cause-oriented, mission-driven, whatever it is for you, that you can find some meaning and fulfillment and purpose. And I've studied a lot with Tony Robbins, and he talks about there's the science of achievement, right? We're achievers. We produce, we're achievers. But what happens is you have that success, you have that money. And if you don't have the art of fulfillment, where there's meaning, purpose, and fulfillment, success without fulfillment can be the ultimate failure in life. And so you've got to find something that keeps you not only plugged in, but turned on, where you keep staying, providing value. For me, I love what I do, and I get to add value to people's lives. And that's what's so rewarding about our business. Look at our relationship, 35 plus years. And there's been times where I haven't talked to you, Dan, for months, even a year. And the relationship picks right back up where we left off. When you and Robin were down here in Sarasota, and I was sponsoring a charity event for the Boys and Girls Club, and you guys were at our table, and we raised, I think, $500,000 that night for the kids. It was just so great to reconnect and have you out here on Siesta Key Beach. Beautiful. Looking forward to coming up and visiting you up in Toronto here in September. Go up there and see you. But our business is really just so rich in relationships. And I tell people, long-term relationships equal long-term success. And that's what it's all about. I look at it this way, Dan. Yes, I've had tremendous financial success in the business, just like you. But if you look at the wheel of life, financial is just one spoke of the wheel. How's your emotional mastery going? Your spiritual mastery, your physical mastery, relationships. There's so many other areas on that wheel of life. And so you want to have constant and never-ending improvement in all areas of your life. And it's just what's just so rewarding about our business is it's relationship driven. And I look at it this way. As your income starts to grow, it really is a measuring stick on the amount of impact that you've had on other people's lives. How many people you've touched with your product or service, either directly or indirectly. It could be through your network of partners, right? Or how many people have you affected with the business and believing in people sometimes more than they believe in themselves. Right. And you put your time and your effort and your money into these people, and I always tell people, don't you go do it. Let's do it together. Sign here, win here. I believe in you. I sell hope, right? And so it's so rewarding to believe in people and see them walk the stage and have success. But it's not even the money or the position, it's who they've become in the process. The ups and downs, the challenges, and you've been there in their corner and believing in them sometimes even more than they believe in themselves. And they acknowledge the fact that, that you were the one that introduced them and believed in them. That's like the Visa commercial. It's priceless. You can't find that anywhere. And that's what really I feel our profession is so different than all the other gig economy things out there that you could do, affiliate for Amazon or an Uber driver or whatever it is. In our business, it's very much relationship driven, and you're helping another person, and you can also build residual income. And there's something exciting about not only having the success, the money, but the time freedom. That residual income, get paid tomorrow off of what you did yesterday. And it can compound year after year after year. And so then you have the quality of life that most people only dream of. Look, I got some friends that are doctors and attorneys and very successful people. When I go to Aspen for the month of March and go skiing and set up camp there, how can you go for a month, Jeff? I said, it's called residual income, guys. You shut down your practice, you still got all the expenses, all the overhead, and no money coming in. It's kind of hard for you to go away for that period of time.
Yeah.
So it's really something special. You're giggling on that one. It's true though. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. So Jeff, great stuff. I'm taking notes, as I'm sure a lot of you are out there. I want to just really recognize our time together here and what we've got. When you've got a brand new distributor, that brand new person, what you taught me back 35 years ago, is that still relevant today? Old school versus new school. Are you still teaching the same thing 35 years ago today when you get that brand new person started off in the business?
You know what would be great, Dan? Share with them, share with everyone. What did I share with you 35 years ago?
Well, it's. I'm going to preface this too, because you never forget it. I mean, there's certain things that I never forget. Never forget the Lord's Prayer. I never forget the national anthem. What you taught me, I never forget. But I also remember about 12, 13 years later, which was in 2002, 2003, because it was in June of 1988 when I got started off in the industry. And why I'm saying this is that when I got started 14 years later, when I got to a point of financial freedom and financial independence, I knew I was at a point financially where I had this residual income. I could live off the income off my assets. And it was because of what you taught me 15 years ago. But I called you and I said, so Jeff, now what? And that conversation we had, and you kind of giggled. You're kind of expecting that call. It was at a good point. But to now go back to it, that brand new distributor that you said, well, first of all, there was three things. And we talked a little bit about it. You shared it with
Refresh.
I'm absolutely going to do refresh here. But my organization, I've got now 1.2, 1.3 million distributors in over 60 countries that we translate to all of them. I said the most important thing is three things: that burning desire, the willingness to work, and the teachability. Those three things, those core fundamentals. It doesn't matter your height, your weight, your gender, what country you come from. It doesn't matter wherever you come from, whoever you are. Those three things were relevant certainly back in 88, are still very relevant today. That has not changed. So from a characteristic standpoint, that's what I look for. But in getting started off in the business, you said to me, Dano, number one, keep the business simple. Keep it simple. Number two, stick to the basics and the fundamentals. If you want spectacular results in your business, master the basics over a consistent period of time. And number three is duplication. And if you don't keep it simple, and if you don't stick to the basics, you can't duplicate. If you complicate, you can't duplicate. Those core fundamentals back in 88 are still relevant today. And what happened with me, what you taught, is in 02 and 03, when I launched an opportunity with my partner Garcia here in Toronto, we were able to, and I know you had that same conversation with your organization. I'll never forget you sharing this with me. I saw it online. When you look at the tools of the business that we have, the fundamentals never change, but your resources and your tools do. Technology it was just a wonderful tool. Technology is a poor master, but it's a wonderful servant. Very much like money. Money is a poor master, but a wonderful servant. So in letting the tools serve you. So when we got technology like we know it today, you and I were able to scale, but the entire industry was able to scale. But we still kept our fundamentals. You got some bugs going on there down
It's
there.
like a little fruit fly. I must have 40 or 50 plants in my house. I have a plant service, and sometimes these little tiny fruit flies are in my house.
I saw your plants. You do have a lot of plants. We got a forest fire up here in Canada, so
thank you guys, by the way.
Yeah.
Half of the United States has got the worst air quality in the world.
It'll get rid of the bugs. So anyways, the bottom line, and it's true, because we talk about this, and I talk about this with my organization as you do too. The core fundamentals, they do not change. You've massively got to get the product out, You have to massively get the opportunity out. You got to reach as many people as you possibly can. And we're able to scale that through the tools and the resources that we have today, which is technology. So we've, through my business and my organization, we've certainly done that. But those core fundamentals that you taught me way back then have been relevant for me. Is there anything that you would add to that, Jeff?
Yeah. A new person getting started in our profession, I believe there's a few steps other than what you're just sharing with those don't change. I mean, look for somebody, and the number one ingredient I look for is somebody that's dissatisfied.
Right.
They're dissatisfied with some area in their life. Maybe it's financially, maybe they want to do something that counts. Maybe it's just something they're looking for a challenge, a career change, but they're hungry and they have a desire and a willingness to work, and they're teachable. Yes, those are characteristics I look for in somebody. Keeping it simple, focusing on the basics, the fundamentals, and the duplication. I believe, and complexity, Dan. Complexity is the enemy of execution.
Absolutely.
Enemy of execution. If it's too complex, they don't do it.
Yes.
So, I've always said to dine with the classes, you got to cater to the masses. You got to keep it fun, simple, easy, magical, and duplicatable. Fun, simple, easy, magical, and duplicatable.
Right.
And I offer people fun, freedom, and flexibility. But starting off your business, one of the most important steps I believe in starting off for a new person is for them to become a product of the product.
Right.
I truly believe step one is before you can lead, you got to believe. You've got to have what I call emotional sincerity. It's not what you say, it's how you feel about what you say. People communicate more with feelings than they do words. So I've always built my business on building a growing customer base, right? I like to retail to recruit. The more retail customers, the bigger growing customer base I have. I have satisfied customers, and I have what's called raving fan customers.
Right.
And those raving fan customers, when they know what they know about the product and they have that belief, that emotional sincerity, it's not an opportunity, it's a responsibility. How could you not go out there and share this with people? Now, it depends on what your product or service is, but I'm talking about for me and the business that I've been involved with now for almost 37 years. So I'm a big product person, and the regulatory agencies out there are looking for the product or service to be sold to the end consumer. And if you don't have a product or a service that you believe in yourself, and that somebody would buy that product or service standing on its own, whether they were involved in the opportunity or not, that's something you really got to look hard at. So that is something that maybe is a little different from when we met 35 years ago. But I've built my business today on rock, not sand. It's on a solid foundation. If I decided to leave and go somewhere else, people would say, Jeff, you've lost your mind, because all those millions of customers would still keep eating and using the product.
Right.
You've got a good business when you can't screw up your own business. There's nothing I can do to stop this train from rolling. But that's building it on rock, not sand, right? Building it on a solid foundation. Now, the basics, the fundamentals will never change. Get this down in your notes. Concepts are constant. Techniques vary. The concepts, the basics, the fundamentals will never change. The different means and ways, the techniques has obviously evolved.
Right.
Let me explain to you what I mean. You get paid. You got to get very clear on what is your job description. We know what the company does. They manufacture, they ship, they collect, they do all the company stuff. But what we get paid for is, as a distributor or a partner, as an independent contractor in your company, you get paid for telling the story, for talking to people. Talk to some, make some money. Talk to lots, you get rich.
Yeah.
Pick a number. There's safety in numbers. There's the law of averages. The more people you talk to, the more you do it over and over again.
Yeah.
A few simple disciplines done consistently over and over again equals multiple rewards. You don't have to do 1,000 things well. You have to do a handful of things 1,000 times over and over again. So what do we get paid for? What is our job description? I get paid for telling the story, talking to people, sharing my product, sharing my opportunity, building relationships, building for events, those type of basics and fundamentals.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The different means and ways you do that today is different than when we started 35 plus years ago.
Right.
Some of you youngsters that are listening in your 20s, there's a thing called a newspaper. I don't know if you've ever seen one. I used to advertise in the back of a newspaper under Sales Help Wanted, looking for people that were looking for an opportunity.
That's how I signed up.
and I could get the phone to ring off the hook.
Yeah.
And it gave me critical mass and people to talk to. Now, the best recruits and the best customers and partners are from word of mouth and warm market, either my warm market or their warm market, right? And building relationships through people either I know or that you know. Like if you signed up with me, Dan, I'd say your contact's my presentation.
Right.
Let me help you get some customers and some partners. So, back when I started, there was a newspaper. My phone was glued to the wall in the kitchen, and it had a rotary dial on it and a long cord, and it cost $1 a minute, over $1 a minute to make a long distance phone call.
Yeah.
We used to have these little pagers that were on our side, right? We thought we were cool, and I'd say, Dan, let me just fax it to you.
Yeah.
Today, where is this thing? It's called a smartphone. And if you're not using it, it's a dumb phone. You can build a global business through technology today, and it's free. You can talk to the whole world for free. Recruit, train, inspire, motivate, Zoom calls, whatever it is. All these different social media platforms. It's unbelievable. Now, I do tell people, if you meet somebody, say on Facebook, take Facebook and make it Facebook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Get them offline and then meet with them. Do something, whatever it is. Eventually, you got to get face to face with people.
Mm.
But today, the techniques, the different means and ways to do it, to tell the story, are certainly different than what they were 30 years ago. And one constant of the universe is change.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always going to keep evolving. Things we're doing today, a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, are going to be different. But the concepts, the basics, the fundamentals of talking to people, sharing the story, sharing your product, sharing your opportunity, building relationships, building for events, right? Personal development. All these things never change, but the techniques, the different means and ways is what change. And if you get clear on that, you get paid. What is your job description? And that is to talk to people, to share the story. We sell our products and services by word of mouth, one satisfied customer to another. And most companies, if the manufacturer of the company sets up this type of distribution network, but with independent contractors to sell their product or service by word of mouth, well, then most of them pay out a pretty large percentage of the money they take in back to the field, because there's no wholesaler, retailer, no advertising, all these other typical distribution. So I believe our profession is one of the highest paid professions in the world. It's one of the most honorable professions. There's nothing quite like it. Like I said, it's all built on helping another person. I show up strong with a tremendous, when I'm talking to people, with that emotional sincerity, that belief, that enthusiasm, just excitement. But I also have a servant's heart. I'm here to serve. I care more about my customers and the results they get than the money I make. I care more about my new partners, my new distributors, and helping them get off to a fast start and their success, more so than the bonuses the company pays off my teams. And with that type of mentality, a servant's heart, you go into a relationship to give, not to get. You're not measuring what you're getting in return. 3 things I focus on. Number 1, I go out there and focus on meeting other people's needs. Your needs, not my needs. It's not about me. It's about the person in front of me with our product or opportunity. Number 2, adding value to their lives with your product and your opportunity, right? Their needs add value. And number 3, I create raving fan relationships, because those long-term relationships equal long-term success. That's how simple the business is. Everybody, you get all this complexity. Like I said, complexity is the enemy of execution. Keep it simple. Keep it fun, simple, easy, magical, and duplicatable. Lighten up, and your sales will brighten up. Have fun doing it.
Yeah.
If you're not enjoying the process and the journey, you're doing it wrong. This is a fun people business. So that's just a few things I'd share on that, Dan.
Excellent, Jeff. Yeah, so much of what you're sharing with me is, well, this is what you shared with me, 35 years ago. Never forget. And I've been teaching those concepts and fundamentals as we go forward here. That has not changed. And the other thing that hasn't changed either is this. And I know you've seen it more than I have. And I deal with it on an ongoing basis, is that once you've built it, and we're talking to a lot of leaders that are out there. These are leaders, distributors. You've got an organization now that's maybe into the thousands of distributors. You've been with your particular company, your organization, 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. Maybe your business is plateaued. Maybe it's stalled. Maybe it's dropped a bit. You can't seem to get it going. Jeff, what have you done to get that leader going again when that leader in your organization comes to you? I had that call last night, particularly this week with a number of our markets. Had it with Russia, with our Eastern European business, had it with our South Americans in Peru and Mexico. But it's quite a talk when you built this seasoned organization, and we're talking to a lot of people that are out there, a lot of them. What do you do when that business plateaus? How do you get to the next rank? How do you get to the next level? Say your check is stalled. What are some of the key things that you shared with your leaders and your people?
It's a great question, Dan.
It's a big one.
And we all go through different seasons and cycles and stages of our business. One thing that the late, great Jim Rohn shared with me, he said, Jeff, being that broke waiter that's hungry and desire and willingness and teachable, you're down in the bottom of the valley and you're going to have tremendous growth climbing that mountain. But what happens is when you get to the top, people tend to sit at the table. Be careful not to sit at the table of success too long, right? People tend to celebrate. They tend to party. They tend to stop growing. And the biggest challenge is to continue to grow.
Right.
And so here's what I tell people is, first of all, you've got to re-evolve your why, get relevant, why you continue to do it. Because for me, once you had the financial success, now what, right? I've gotten to the top of my company and had the success. What's going to keep me not only plugged in, but turned on? And there's a couple things you want to do as a leader. You want to, first of all, always keep reinventing yourself and upping your product story. I gained a lot of weight with all that success, and I had let my physical mastery get away from me. And I said, you know what? I need to live the mission myself with my products and really up my game and get a new product story. And that really did a lot for my business and my mindset by living the mission. I mean, I've took the weight off and I've kept it off, and people see that and they feel that, and you feel that. But that's one thing. But here's the biggest thing: leading by example. I have found people watch the feet, not the lips. Partners and distributors on your team don't do what you tell them to do. They do what you do, right? Yeah. And get this down in your notes. It's easier to lead than it is to push.
Right.
So what I would say to people is, you think your job description has changed. Now that you've built this organization, you've got these people you've got to manage. You got to manage your team now, right? You're really important. And you don't have time to go out there and get new partners or new customers yourself. You're in what I call the management mode. You're in what I call a comfort zone. You're just going to manage the existing team that you have. Well, that is not how you grow your business. What you want to do is understand that your job description never changes, no matter what your rank is, no matter what your title is, no matter what your income is. What you get paid for never changes. That job description, and that is to go out there and produce and put on new partners and new customers and build new lines. Nothing will ignite your business more than you going out there and doing what you did in the beginning that got you to that leadership position in the first place. Right. And if you do that, some of your existing leaders might at first be upset with you and say, what do you mean, Jeff? I'm not the issue. You're not going to just keep working with me. You're going to go out and build a new team. Yes. I'm going to lead by example. I'm going to hold myself accountable. I'm going to be the best partner on my team. I'm going to go out there, instead of telling you, I'm going to show you, I'm going to do it. I'm going to lead by example. And you know what will happen? They'll respect you. They'll see you doing it and you building new team, and they will catch on and start doing it as well. And so what you want to do is realize the finish line is the starting line. Yeah. You want to say, okay, I've got to get back with the paying activities of putting on new customers and new partners and building new team. I want to get back into what's called the production stage, where I'm going to produce again. And you know what? That's where all the fun is. That's where all the juice. That's where all the juice is. That's where all the energy is. You know where you get burned out and need a break and go on vacation is when you just keep managing people and dealing with problems. Right. So true. I mean, so true. You know, I tell people, you come to me with a problem. Are you part of the problem or part of the solution? If you're part of the solution, let's talk. But, you know, the great thing about our business, it's the people business. The bad thing about our business, it's the people business. Sometimes you're dealing with all this problems with people managing. But when you go out and get a new person, a brand new customer, brand new partner, and they're a baby distributor in your team, they got a fresh, warm market, they got a good positive attitude, they got that new man enthusiasm, and you launch their business that first 30, 60, 90 days. That's fun. That's exciting. That's where you go out and double and triple and quadruple your business, is by building new business, new lines, new team, and stretch yourself. I remember when I built a big business here in the United States, when I started US, Canada, and I basically could have retired. I had a nice team here. But Europe was opening up. Well, I didn't know anybody in Germany. I didn't sprechen Sie Deutsch. I didn't know anybody over there. And I said, the bigger the problem, the bigger the paycheck. Figure it out, Jeff. And so I started recruiting bilingual people over here, recruiting them, training them, getting to the big conventions, see the big picture. And I said, if you'll come over to Europe with me and give me a commitment of 3-5 years, whatever that is, I'll show you how you can have this that you're seeing here in the US over there under on your team. And so I stretched myself and started like you've done. I've not only built local, but I think global. There's a whole world out there. And so the key takeaways on this is, if you want to get out of the management stage, the comfort zone, and get back into the production stage and stretch yourself and get into some uncharted waters and go back out there and do what you did in the beginning that got you to that higher position in the first place. If you'll do that over again and over again, multiple times, your business will just keep going to new plateaus. But the best part is you'll have new team. It'll be fun again. It'll be exciting again. You'll have that. You'll show up at the big conventions with your new freshman class, right? Your new team, and it'll inspire your existing leadership to do the same.
I was talking about this. I mean, this is magical stuff. And 2 or 3 of the nuggets that you just shared with just going back and doing the things that you did that got you there in the first place, sitting at that table of success too long, the comfort zone and all of that. What I was sharing just this week, I was sharing it with the Russians, I was sharing it with our South American team as well, is that, Jeff, I remember this 35 years ago in our 5-year run. I remember it, and from a compliance standpoint, we can't share the income level that you were at, but gang, it was an incredible income level. You were at that point, as you shared with everyone, that when Europe opened up, you were in a position to kick back, sit back, and retire. The thing that I shared as well, you did share these points today that I shared last night and this past week in multiple calls that I had. But one of the biggest things that stood out, that I know a lot of other leaders on our team way back then, some of our old friends would say it, he's still the hardest working distributor anywhere. It didn't matter. And I remember that. And you've said that over the years, is that you would always be the hardest working distributor in your organization and on your team. And it's funny how good fortune follows good, strong, hard work. And it's one of the biggest things that I'll never forget was that. And the second thing is just what you shared with everybody that I had shared on my organizational calls just this past week. It is one of the greatest things that you could do to take your business to the next level, is go out and do those things that you did in the first place. And that was going out and building those new teams. You couldn't have said it better. If you kept it in a very simple message and sharing that with everyone. So love it. Just love it. A few things here too, going back and forth. You and I could, we don't need notes. You and I probably just back and forth. And the entire industry can benefit from what we could share with them. Jeff, you've been 37 years. Now I've been 35. So we're closing in on now that 70 plus years of, I guess, close to 70 years of us doing this full time. This is not a side hustle, a side gig. This is all we've done. So it's so beneficial for everyone that is looking into tapping into this call today. But a few things I wanted to throw out at you that come to me, and I've got my response in this. Oh, by the way, I do want to share this with everybody. When I phoned you after 13, 14 years, and I said, Jeff, now what? You know what you said to me? Well, you do. You said, Dan, yeah. You said, Dano, because I was at that point. You said, well, number one, don't forget where you came from. I said, oh, yeah, you're right. He said, always remain humble and don't ever stop growing. And I've seen a lot of leaders, they get to a point and they stop the personal growth. They stop working on themselves. They stop listening to, the good stuff, listening to the good stuff, watching the good stuff an hour a day, because they get to that table of comfort, that couch of comfort, whatever that might be. But then a few minutes later, you said, and Dan, and don't do anything stupid. And
That's true too.
that one is huge. Yeah. And that one was huge because we've seen so many leaders in our industry, neglecting one of the greatest reasons why people, one of the biggest reasons why people, I find fail, and don't reach that level of success is neglect. And, they neglect those core fundamentals, and, they get away from those things that were working for them. So in doing something stupid, we have seen people go sideways just because they think they've really, really, really arrived, and they've forgotten where they came from. And they think they're bigger than the business itself and the opportunity that they've got. What do you find, Jeff? I've never asked you this one, but what do you find in the industry today? What do you feel is probably the biggest challenge for distributors in the field today? The biggest challenge for them, and what would be the solution to that challenge?
You talking about at all levels, or a new person, somebody that's been around? What do you mean?
Yeah. What would be the biggest for a leader, a distributor, someone in the business today? What do you think the biggest challenge or objection, things that they would confront in the business?
I think it's different for everyone, Dan. I really do.
Okay.
One of the big things for me was a lesson that I got very early, is it doesn't matter whether people buy your story or not.
Right.
What matters is whether you buy their story.
Right.
And I found that when I first got started, I had a lot of people tell me, Jeff, your product's no good. Your opportunity's no good. It's one of those deals, right? You're no good.
Right.
And I didn't let anybody rain on my parade. I didn't let anybody filter my dreams. A great word to have in your vocabulary is the word next.
Mm.
Don't worry about the ones that you can't sell.
Mm-hmm.
Worry about all the ones you can't see.
Mm-hmm.
And I have found it's better to say less to more people, because I have also found I can't say the right thing to the wrong person, and I really can't say the wrong thing to the right person. It boils down to what's called safety in numbers and the law of averages. You guys have baseball up there in Canada, American baseball, right?
Sure.
When you go to the plate, you get paid for swinging the bat.
Yeah. We won a couple of World Series, by the way.
I know, I was being a little sarcastic. You get paid for swinging the bat up north, right? When you guys won the World Series, the players got paid for, just like we get paid for telling the story, right? Talking to people.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. In baseball, if you strike out 7 out of 10 times and only hit the ball 3 out of 10, 3 out of 10 times you hit the ball, they pay you billions of dollars a year.
Right. Right.
You don't have to bat 1,000%, is what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
So if there's safety in numbers, there's the law of averages. What gets people, and they fold up their tent and go home and say, oh, maybe this is not for me. It's your friends, it's your family, it's your neighbors, it's your coworkers, and they tell you your product, your opportunity, your whatever it is no good. And you buy their story. Now, today with social media, a lot of people hide behind a computer screen and do it through social media. But I'm talking about if you really actually talk to somebody face to face, like we did, how we built our business.
Sure.
And so you just got to understand there's safety in numbers, law of averages. And from that, anything you do consistently over and over again, you're going to get better and better at doing it. Remember, a few simple disciplines done consistently over and over again equals multiple rewards. And I would say that was the biggest challenge for me and people today is they don't have, here's what you're going to have to do in the beginning. Put in 10 hours worth of work for 1 hour worth of pay.
Mm.
When I started, I put in a lot of time and a lot of effort before I started to see the return. It's kind of like on a farm. Remember those old fashioned pumps on a farm? You had to pump and pump and pump to get some water to come.
Yeah.
Or it's like when you turn on your garden hose. Does it start shooting out right away, or does it take some time for that thing to fill up? So understand it takes some time to establish, sustain, and advance some momentum in your business. If you do it consistently long enough, the basics and the fundamentals, it'll start to happen for you. But also remember, the great word to have in your vocabulary is the word next.
Yep.
Don't buy their story, because they can get you. And here's what you got to be able to do. Discipline your disappointments. Discipline your disappointments. And if, I might experience negative emotions, Dan. I may get upset or depressed or sad or angry or whatever it is. I choose not to live there. Right. I don't live there. I've compressed the time now where I go back to a beautiful state of love and gratitude. And I focus on what's right in life, not what's wrong in life. What's wrong in life is always available, but so is what is right in life, right? I focus on what I can control, not what I can't control. So become a master of your emotions, your emotional mastery, right? Be a gatekeeper to your mind. And that's why I like to feed my mind. 3 things I do every day. 1, I feed my mind. What are you listening to? What are you reading? Who are you spending time with? Right. Who you spend time with is who you become, right? I had to let some of my negative friends go. They were like this, all the answers and no money. Okay, next, I got to keep moving on. This train's going down the track. Either hop on or get out of the way. I'm moving on about you, right?
Yeah.
And so you've just got to keep feeding your mind every day. Hour of power in the morning. I get up. Not only do I feed my mind, but you want to condition your body, right? There's the emotion. I'm going to get that little fly. There's emotion in motion, right?
Yeah.
You got to move, breathe, radical shift in your physiology. So feed the mind, condition the body. And for me, I connect spiritually every day. I put God first.
Excellent.
And that keeps that inner peace. And I do what I call an hour of power in the morning. I do what's called net time, NET, no extra time. When I'm doing my cardio and my exercise, what do I have in? My headphones, and I'm plugging in, right? I'm plugging in and I'm feeding my mind every day. I want to show up in a peak resourceful state. I want to be the best version of JR that I can be. I want to show up as an example, not a warning. I want to walk the talk. Success breeds success. How do you show up in life? How you do anything is how you do everything, right? What level are you playing at? Are you fully engaged? Are you fully immersed? Are you walking the talk? Are you an example, not a warning? All those things. So, but I have to be a gatekeeper to my mind and feed my mind, condition my body, and connect spiritually every day. So there's so much out there today for free, guys. It's all on the internet, YouTube, everywhere. Just choose what you want to listen to, what resonates with you. But find your emotional home. Where do you live emotionally? For me, it's love and gratitude and joy and happiness and all these positive emotions. I live in what's called a beautiful state. Do I get upset? Absolutely. Do I get angry, depressed, sad, all those? But I don't stay there. I don't live there, Dan.
Right.
That's the difference. So work on compressing the time. So there's so much you could study and learn on this and grow. I mean, Tony's got some great stuff out there. Just plug in, feed your mind every day. I know we've now just crossed 1 hour. So I think we're going to have to wrap it up here soon because I do have another call I've committed to. But any last thoughts or comments, Dan?
Yeah, Jeff, I'm loving this, as you know, and you and I have our conversations personally, but I'm just so glad that we're getting this out to everybody. Maybe in 2 minutes, where do you see the industry in the next 5 to 10, 15 years and beyond? Where do you see our profession going, the future?
Yeah. I believe that the direct sales network marketing profession is only going to continue to grow. It's already a multi-billion-dollar a year profession.
Right.
Look around the world at the global impact that we're having.
Yeah.
And I truly tell people, like in our company, I say, we're just beginning. We're just getting started.
Yeah.
We're at the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. Us too.
The best years are ahead of us, not behind us.
Right.
The best is yet to come. So there's a positive expectancy. There's a compelling future. There's a vision. Without vision, people will perish, right?
Right.
So you got to have that vision with your organization of where you're going and where this profession is going. And here's the thing, you and I are in different companies, but we're still one big team, one big mission. We're still out there doing something for the greater good in the world with what we're doing. Here's what I love so much. Yeah, we've got great products and services that people get results and it makes an impact on their lives. But the business side of it, I'm just as excited about the opportunities as I am my product because I get to sell hope.
Yes.
I sell hope. I tell people, turn off CNN, constant negative news. You can paralyze yourself and live in fear and focus on everything that's wrong in the world.
Yeah.
Or you can come over here, sign here, win here. I believe in you. Let's do this together. Let's go do this. And here's what I'll finish with. Give love first. Love is the oxygen to the soul, right? I mean, so people, there's an old saying, I've been saying it for 30 plus years. You guys have heard this one. People don't care how much you know until what? They know how much you care.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. So I believe we're just getting started, tip of the iceberg, best is yet to come. And it's so exciting and so fun to be part of this, to play a role in this profession. And I love it. I love it. I'll never retire. I've been telling all my partners, we just had a big global leadership retreat. And I said, I've decided to refire, not retire.
Right.
I'm going to retire into my business, from my business.
My business, right.
And that's what it's all about, brother. So I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you. And everyone out there, thank you for listening to this. Hopefully we've shared something that'll help you in your profession, your company, your career. We're not doing this for anything other than to just pay it forward. And if it helps somebody, because I'll never forget where I came from. I got a break, Dan. I got a break. Yep. Somebody shared with me this profession, this opportunity. And I went from that broke waiter that was hungry, struggling and juggling to now having a life of something that I give away millions of dollars today in charity.
I know you do.
I know we're not allowed to give income claims, but when you can give away millions of dollars to different charities and be able to spoil your mom or your grandparents and do these things that most people could only dream of, I have all those. If I could, I would. I mean, I get to do things with all these Boys and Girls Clubs and Make-A-Wish and Humane Society and St. Jude's. And it's wonderful. The secret to living is giving. Now you have abundance beyond being able to take care of yourself. You can do this and share the love, share the joy.
Yeah. Jeff, thank you so much. And thank you to all of you out there that are listening to us. I know you'll be replaying this. Buddy, you and I are going to be in touch here just over the probably next day or so, for sure, for sure. We got to connect on some things, but the biggest thing is our connection here, especially from you and your chair and where you are to the world. So, buddy, thanks for the 35 years. It's we've been together. What we've been doing, we got another, I think, 30, 35 in front of us. So we still got a good runway. Still got a good runway. Okay,
All right.
buddy. Talk to you soon, Jeff.
Thank
Thanks,
you, Dan.
guys.
Bye-bye.
See you guys. Bye-bye, everybody.